liberal mega donor George Soros is handing control of his massive empire to his son Alex. Alex says he's more political than his father. He promises to expand his dad's progressive agenda. Former presidential speechwriter Mark Thiessen says Alex Soros' influence should not be taken lightly.
If you just invest a few $1 million in these races, you can elect one guy who will just enforce criminal justice reform for you by not prosecuting, and they've got a 90% success rate. And so if his son's going to double down on this, we got a lot of problems coming into America's cities.
Is he going to double down? Take a look at these pictures. Is he cozy with the White House? Take a look. 37-year-old Alex keeps a busy political calendar. He's reportedly visited the White House at least 14 times in just over a year. And he's often seen posting pictures of himself. He's active on social media with powerful Democratic politicians, including one from just last week, Vice President Kamala Harris. Fox Business's Kelly O'Grady has more now from Los Angeles. Kelly, good to see you.
Great to see you too, Harris. And yeah, that characterization of more political than his father, I mean, that's going to be a tall order to live up to, especially given his father's reputation. So in that first interview, since taking reins of the $25 billion empire, he shared this with the Wall Street Journal. He said, "I'm more political. As much as I would love to get money out of politics, as long as the other side is doing it, we will have to do it too." So for context, Alex will chair the Open Society Foundation. It's a nonprofit that directs roughly $1.5 billion towards democratic causes and institutions. His father, George, of course, also known for backing DAs and law enforcement that push progressive issues like bail reform. Alex shared he plans to expand the family's giving to include a focus on gender equity, abortion, and voting rights. Those, of course, will all be key 2024 issues. Now, Alex, he's already a big political donor apart from his family, pouring $5.7 million since 2018 into Democratic PACs and campaigns. And like you said, he's known to flaunt his liberal connections. You do a quick scan of social media, it shows countless pictures with world leaders, Democratic mainstays, the president, the VP, Nancy Pelosi. In the Wall Street Journal article, though, I wanted to share this with you. It was interesting. He shared that speech nowadays he feels is too restricted. Not everyone is buying it, though. Elon Musk saw that.
Here's who putting batteries in their backs, y'all. We done cracked the case this morning. George Soros' son, Alex Soros, is the one that's putting batteries in these Democrats' backs, especially them Negroes, because I know them Negro females probably flirting with him like a motherfucker. Y'all know how them black females get flirtatious, right? Especially the Jasmine Crockett's and all those hood rats. You understand me? Probably been at private parties over Alex Soros' crib, and this is where is it coming from, ladies and gentlemen. So all you got to do is follow the money trail, and they'll lead back to the Soros, who's causing mass destruction and mayhem in America. So I believe their visas should be revoked and send their ass back where they came from. Let's go.
Tweeted this, saying, quote, "If he's serious about freedom of speech, then we have common ground, but destroying public safety by electing DAs who won't prosecute violent criminals needs to stop." So, Harris, it sounds like we can expect more of the same from Alex, but perhaps an even more intense political focus than his father.
Yeah, with social media backing it up, because he's active, unlike his dad. Good to see you. Thank you. Will Cain, co-host of Fox and Friends Weekend, and I think that that's a particular difference between these two men. And maybe it's a generational one. I'm not going to say you don't see George Soros anywhere, but you see Alex a lot of different places.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you're putting a finger on something really important here, Harris. First of all, it's important for every American to understand, truly not just Americans, but anyone living in any society on Earth, how influential Soros has been throughout his career. But here back at home in America, to truly understand.
I'm taking pictures with all the Dixiecrat haters, man. Look at this. So we know where it's coming from. The fires of the Tesla dealers and all that shit. The dock stations and all that's coming from the Soros, man. He's more radical than his father, ladies and gentlemen. And this who's funding the Dixiecrats. Just like his father was. But he's more radical than his father. He even said it out his own mouth. Let's go.
And the power of the Open Society Foundation. It's played a massive role, not just in electing the DAs referenced by Elon Musk that have affected public safety, but also behind the Human Rights Campaign, which has been a major force in pushing trans ideology through corporations and the policies that are pushed forward in our society, not to mention illegal immigration, the funding of NGOs that help facilitate illegal immigrants making...
Coming from the Soros, I told y'all follow the money trail. We'll most definitely pull the mask off the motherfucking monster. Understand me? And his days are numbered on the earth. He only got hours, minutes left on the earth. So he gave all control to his son. And his son is more political than him. So...
their way through the United States of America. Incredibly, incredibly influential, Harris. But I like the point about openness, about transparency, that you're pointing to social media. I'll be honest with you. I like the admission from Alex Soros that he is going to be more political than his father. I don't like the intent, I don't like the purpose, but I like the admission, because any criticism of George Soros, who has been clearly political, has been thwarted away or swatted at with accusations of anti-Semitism. If you point out George Soros' political involvement, you're met with the idea that somehow that is anti-Semitic, to see and admit that truth. Alex is seeing and admitting that truth himself, saying, no, we're going to be very, very political, more so even on the issues that I just highlighted. And so then, therefore, maybe the American public have an honest discussion, have an honest view of exactly how powerful is this family.
Yeah, well, I think the White House has been getting an honest view since since 2022. I mean, I mentioned at least 14 visits in the last year. But among the people on the list, John Feiner, Deputy National Security Advisor, he met with him several times between 21 and 22. So you're right, it's a whole global international foreign policy by the U.S. perspective that we've got to watch for. Here's a list, by the way, of nearly 20 liberal district attorneys and prosecutors from across America. Fox has confirmed Soros made direct contributions or indirect contributions through PACs supporting these candidates. Look at that scroll. And here's a map by a nonprofit group which shows up to 70 progressive DAs spread across the country linked to Soros in some way. Will.
I would just say, if you question how, I think many people would like to think, I'm not into politics. Politics doesn't affect me. Well, it doesn't affect you until...
So what I think, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen, my opinion, who got money, y'all? It's a battle over who got the most money. And we know Donald Trump teamed up with Elon Musk, one of the richest men in the world, right? Elon. But then we know we got George Soros, the Soros, and the Rothschilds, and, it's about who got the most money, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what's going on right now. But it's sad that they got to burn that man Tesla dealers and cars and stocks and all that shit up. But it's the game, y'all, politics. And you follow the money trail, most definitely you'll come up with the monsters who's funding it, right? And that's what we've been doing lately, ladies. We've been following the money. We came up with George Soros, who's now led us to Alex Soros, his son, who he gave all control over of the empire. And here it is right here. So that's what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. The Soros is funding the lefties like before with Antifa and BLM, right? And we know who's causing this shit. We know who's causing all this mayhem out here burning these Teslas up, y'all. It's funding from the Soros. So you got to cut that funding off, King Trump. Cut that funding off that's coming from the Soros. And I guarantee you all this shit will stop. Let's go.
you're the victim of a house burglary or whatever it may be, the rising crime in your city. The map right there that you showed shows you how politics can affect you. I know I saw my county. I saw mine scroll across. You know, the scroll was a little slow, so it didn't reveal all of what we saw on that map. But Dallas County, right there. So I know personally, and I'm sure many people watching, you know personally how you've been affected by the influence of this politics.
Yeah. Yeah, to get everything, we would have had to scroll so fast you couldn't read them.
Yeah.